Imagine walking through a dense forest. Suddenly, you hear the crisp rustling of dry leaves. Your heart skips a beat. That primal fear sets in, and you're wondering, is it the one? The longest venomous snake on the entire planet? The undisputed king of the jungle, whose very name makes people break out in a cold sweat? Well, welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unravel the actual reality of the King Cobra. We're stepping past all the fear to understand the fascinating mechanics of a creature that reigns supreme in the animal kingdom, yet remains so incredibly misunderstood. So let's dive right in. A snake-eating, tree-dwelling fairy. Now, if I asked you to describe a king cobra, I'm guessing fairy is literally the last word that would pop into your head, right? But the literal translation of its scientific name, Ophiofagus hannah, is absolutely fascinating. Ophiofagus is Greek for snake-eating, and hannah refers to tree-dwelling fairies. So, scientifically speaking, this terrifying apex predator is categorized as a tree-dwelling fairy that eats other snakes. It kind of completely flips the script on how we perceive this animal, right out of the gate. But hey, make no mistake, it is incredibly dangerous. And the most crucial point is this: 20. A single bite from a king cobra packs enough highly potent neurotoxins to end the lives of 20 adult humans. Just let that sink in for a second. One bite. It's got such a colossal punch that it can even take down a massive, fully grown elephant. This sheer, unparalleled chemical firepower is exactly why it commands so much respect and fear wherever it goes. And, you know, that respect is deeply woven right into human culture, particularly in India. The king cobra isn't just an animal over there. It's a profound symbol of protection and divine power. It holds this sacred place in mythology, representing Sheshnag, the multi-headed serpent that Lord Vishnu rests upon, and it's famously depicted coiled right around the neck of Lord Shiva. It is literally the national reptile of India. But of course, with great mythology comes great misunderstanding. Let's bust a huge myth right now. Some folks believe that if you kill a king cobra, it captures the image of its killer in its eyes so its partner can track them down for revenge. Fascinating folklore, for sure, but scientifically, absolutely 100% false. Section 1. Anatomy of a false cobra. Okay, let's pivot over to the biology of this magnificent creature. Because, despite everything we just talked about, there is a massive twist in its biological classification. Get this. The king cobra isn't actually a cobra. I know, it sounds crazy. True cobras belong to the Naja genus. But because of its immense size, its totally unique stripe patterns, and that extraordinarily large hood, the king cobra had to be placed into a category all its own. It is the sole, lonely member of the Ophiofagus genus. It's so utterly unique that science literally had to build a VIP room just for it. And when you look at its physical specs, you can totally see why it gets that VIP treatment. This animal routinely reaches 12 feet and can grow up to a staggering 18 feet long. That's 3 tall humans stacked end to end, and it can weigh up to 6 kilograms. Now, in most snake species, the female is actually the larger one, but the king cobra flips the biological script again. The males are longer and heavier. And my absolute favorite detail, it actually wears a crown. It has 11 distinct super large scales on its head that form a literal crown shape, distinguishing it from all other snakes. It was quite literally born to be king. Section 2. Hunting and lethal venom. So, how exactly does this king hunt? Well, they're diurnal, meaning they prefer to do their hunting during the day. And remember that snake-eating scientific name? They primarily hunt cold-blooded animals, specifically targeting other snakes. Even the highly venomous Indian cobra isn't safe from them. And the way they track their prey is just brilliant. A king cobra obviously doesn't have a nose like we do. Instead, it flicks that forked tongue out into the air and onto the ground, snagging tiny scent particles. It pulls the tongue back in and wipes those particles on a special sensory receptor on the roof of its mouth called the Jacobson's organ. This organ instantly decodes the chemical data and pinpoints the exact location of the prey. Combine that highly advanced smelling mechanism with eyesight so sharp it can spot a moving animal from almost a football field away, and you have an absolute master of the hunt. Now, what happens when the hunter becomes the threatened? Normally, they're actually quite shy and prefer to avoid humans, but if they're cornered, honestly, this is where nightmares come from. It can lift up to 1/3 of its entire massive body straight off the ground. That means an 18-foot snake could literally look a 6-foot human dead in the eye. It flares out its hood and releases this low-pitched hiss that sounds chillingly like a growling dog. It's a highly evolved, highly effective defense mechanism that screams, back off. And if you don't back off, the consequences are incredibly dire. Through half-inch, needle-like fangs, it pumps a massive payload of neurotoxins directly into the bloodstream. This venom attacks the central nervous system with absolutely terrifying speed. Within moments, the victim gets blurred vision, intense pain, and extreme dizziness. The neurotoxins aggressively block nerve impulses, which leads to rapid, total body paralysis, and that quickly cascades into cardiac and respiratory failure. Without intervention, a human can slip into a coma and pass away within just 30 minutes. So if you ever find yourself accidentally crossing paths with one, you absolutely need to know the survival protocol. First rule, do not provoke it. But if it does strike, your best move is simple but critical. Dodge sideways. A king cobra's strike pattern moves downward and forward in a straight line, so stepping rapidly to the side gives you the best chance of evading those fangs. If bitten, the absolute key is to keep the bitten area completely still to slow the venom spread and seek specialized antivenom immediately. That antivenom is literally the only way to neutralize those deadly toxins. Section 3. The only nesting snake.
You know, if we just look at the king cobra as this venomous machine, we totally miss its most remarkable trait. It's time to look at the dedicated, monogamous partner and fierce parent. The breeding cycle runs from January to April, and it starts with the female leaving a trail of pheromones while shedding her skin. Males track the scent, and get this, if two males show up at the same time, they engage in an intense but non-lethal wrestling match. They literally try to pin the other's head to the ground for mating rights. The winner then performs this really delicate cobra dance to court the female. And surprisingly, these snakes are monogamous, sticking with the exact same partner for the entire season.
And here is what makes them completely unique in the entire reptile world. The king cobra is the absolute only snake species on Earth that builds a nest. It's a real game changer. The female uses her long body and head to meticulously sweep dry leaves, dirt, and branches into a mound. She carefully lays 20 to 25 eggs inside, ensuring the temperature is perfectly regulated. Then she just curls up on top of that nest and guards it without eating a single thing for 2 whole months. All the while, the male staying right nearby, fiercely protecting the surrounding territory. It's just a stunning display of parental dedication. But all that tender parenting comes to a very abrupt end when the eggs hatch. The parents actually take off so they aren't tempted to, well, eat their own young. And these hatchlings, they are born ready for war. They come out of the egg up to 29 inches long, completely independent, and packing the exact same highly concentrated, lethal neurotoxic venom as their massive parents. They are fully weaponized from day one. Section 4. Predators and human threats. Yet, despite being born with such lethal power, the king cobra is definitely not invincible. We know they eat other snakes, but it really begs the question, who hunts the king? Who out there is brave enough to look an 18-foot venomous giant in the eye and say, "Yep, you're my lunch today"? Well, nature has an incredible way of keeping everything in balance. The king actually has several natural predators. First up is the famous mongoose. These amazing little mammals are so agile they can just dodge a strike, and they have a natural resistance to the venom. They simply jump on the cobra and crush its skull. Then you have the famously aggressive honey badger, whose tough skin and venom resilience make it a total nightmare for the snake. And striking from the sky, you have the secretary bird, literally nicknamed the snake eater, which will violently stomp the cobra to death or even pick it up and drop it from extreme heights. It just shows how nature's ecosystem is totally masterful at checking the power of an apex predator. But there is one predator the king cobra has absolutely no defense against. Us. Human activity has decimated their populations. They're hunted for their skin, leather, and for food. The rapid, devastating destruction of their forest habitats leaves them completely without homes. They are illegally trafficked in the exotic pet trade, which is just a disaster for an animal like this. And they are cruelly exploited by street performers and snake charmers. Because of all these human actions, the king cobra now officially holds an IUCN vulnerable status. That means their numbers are dropping so incredibly fast that they face a very high risk of going extinct if we don't step in and do something. Now, why should we care? Well, without the king cobra, populations of crop-destroying rodents and other highly dangerous venomous snakes would just explode. We desperately need this predator to keep our ecosystems healthy and balanced.
And this is exactly why initiatives like wildlife sanctuaries and global awareness campaigns are so absolutely vital. Things like World Snake Day on July 16th are dedicated to educating the public about the importance of these creatures. It's a powerful reminder that, look, we don't have to love them or want to cuddle them, but we definitely need to respect their absolute necessity in the delicate balance of our planet's ecosystems.
Which brings us to our final thought. We've seen its terrifying power, its unique biology, and its completely surprising devotion as a parent. It is an animal beautifully, perfectly adapted to survive. So the real question we have to ask ourselves as we share this planet with them is this: can we learn to see the king cobra not as a monster to conquer, but as a masterpiece to protect? Thanks so much for joining this explainer today, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning, keep learning, and keep looking past the fear to uncover the truth.